Hey everyone, Josh here with Fresh Start Customs, and today I'm going to be showing you guys different style editing and what you can expect between Glowforge user interface such as this versus a vector program such as Illustrator here. I'm going to show you different types of edits you can do on both, the limitations of like the Glowforge app versus a vector app. We're going to be using this new monogram sword gaming stand here that I made as an example. This is what the end product looks like here. You can switch out your monograms here. Has the word gamer. I'll show you how you can make slight edits to this. Also notice how the controller sits on here. If you want to edit that, I'll show you guys how to do that as well. But real quick before we get started, I just want to show one last thing here. Some people don't know how to extract a folder that you get off of Etsy. So let's say you bought this file off of Etsy. It comes as a zipped folder. It looks like this on Windows 11. It may look zipped up and down on Windows 10 or earlier. All you got to do is right click on this and then click extract all. And then you'll get a pop-up window that looks like this. And then you can choose where you want to extract it and then just hit extract. I already extracted it right here. It'll then look like a normal folder with no zip on it, no zipper. You'll just double click that folder. It'll open up and you can double click the actual folder it unzipped. And this is what it looks like. This is how all my files are laid out. I always recommend you use the PDF file with your vector program. That way it doesn't cause any scaling issues. If you get a file that comes with PDF, always use that. That prevents any kind of scaling with your program settings. So for example, Illustrator can use a different setting than what Inkscape or Lightburn or Rhino or any of those vector programs. So PDF works pretty much all the way across the board. So just double click on that, use this PDF file for your program. I highly recommend that. If you need any more troubleshooting, I do have troubleshooting guides with mine. But let's go back real quick. I want to show you guys these other things. So this is the base Illustrator file that I always use. This is the original, and then I turn it into a PDF so it works with all programs. And I also include an SVG file. Mine looks like the Microsoft Edge logo, because that's what my SVGs will default to. Yours may have like a Chrome logo or Inkscape logo, whatever you set your default program to open SVG files with. So this may be different based on your computer. Also include how to use our files. That just explains exactly what I went over there. It looks something like this. It explains to use PDF files. It explains how to extract the file that we went through, what it looks like, what to expect with the PDF, etc., etc. And then I also include instructions on how to put this together, both a JPEG and a PDF form. So I'll just open up the PDF form. This is what it looks like. It explains how to use it, what to expect when building it, all that kind of good stuff. Now that we got all the basics out of the way, let's jump into quick edits on this. And I'm going to show you in the Glowforge user interface first. Here's the Glowforge user interface. I just switched this to a green color here. You can do that in your preference window if you want to. I'm just doing that for the video. So if you click on preferences, I have it on this one right now just so it's easier to see in the screen recording, but you probably have it on default. So just a heads up on that. That's why mine looks green. Yours may look different. When you first import it, it may have like dash marks. If you do see any dash marks and it doesn't actually give you an option to cut or anything, you need to select your material first. So just select your material up here. This one's made for medium maple plywood. And then what you need to do is change your cut settings because it'll automatically say cut because they're lines, but you need to turn this to score. And there we go. So now as you can see, we got our score lines in the center here and our cut lines for everything else. So let's say you want to edit this and you don't want the word gamer here. All you got to do is select it, right click and choose ungroup. Once you have an ungroup, you'll see all those squares. That means that those are individual pieces. Then you can come in here and select the gamer words here and just delete those. And there you go. You got rid of the word gamer. That means you won't need these anymore. So you can get rid of those. And then you can choose whatever letter you want. So first letter of my name is J. I'll just move that up here and we can get rid of all these. Won't need those anymore. And then this file is ready to print. If you don't want the standout level up logo here, you can get rid of that too. And you could even remove it from the portion of the sword itself. But if you want it just a score, you could leave that right there. If you want both, just leave them both. But let's just say you want to get rid of that. Just delete it. And you can delete the inside and just leave a star, or get rid of the whole thing altogether like that. So however you want to edit it. Another thing that you could do is, instead of deleting all those letters, you could spell out like a short name down the sword too, if you wanted to. The only thing with that is you would have to manually glue it into place versus the score lines. Since if you copy this, it'll still be a cut file. So that's kind of a limitation of the Glowforge's user interface. Next up is, let's say, here's that stand again. As you can see, I left it so the controller kind of leaned back, and you had a space right here that you could engrave on if you wanted to, like a name or something. But let's say you wanted this controller to lean up against this a little bit so it was more tilted. All you'd have to do in that situation is move this front piece forward, and you can do that in the Glowforge user interface as well. So same thing, you'll just click on this, right click, and ungroup. And then you'll have to select all of these at once, so you'll hold shift and click them. And then you can just kind of nudge it up with your arrows like this to the area that you want. And there you go, you've made that edit. You can now highlight all of it again if you want to, and then right click and group it again. And now you made that edit so the stand will stand up more. You'll have a little bit extra space up here, but if you wanted to, you could technically bring all of this down at once and center it. But you could also engrave like your name on the front here. So that's pretty much how you would do the small edits in Glowforge user interface. The only downside is you can't really grab individual nodes on the Glowforge user interface. So let's say you wanted to make this into a 1/4 inch material versus an 1/8 inch material. You wouldn't be able to grab the bottom nodes like on this piece here and increase them into a 1/4 inch material. You could increase the actual slots, but the tabs that go down into it, you couldn't really increase that on Glowforge user interface here. So we're going to jump into Illustrator. I'll show you the difference there. So let's jump over there. So as you can see, we have that original file again. So you can do all the same exact steps with this that you could with the Glowforge user interface. So let's say we want to do the same thing here. You just hold down Control, Shift, and G to ungroup this stuff. And then you can highlight the word gamer. We'll get rid of that just like we did before. We don't need any of this. You can grab your monogram letter if you want to. Oh, I gotta ungroup that first. So Control Shift G, and you can grab your little letter here. Or like I said, you can spell out your whole name if you have a shorter name. So we can just grab this whole name here. Let me just grab all the letters. There we go. And then we'll get rid of these. And if you want to, you could technically rotate this and then just put them right along here, all the way down the sword. You get the point. I don't want to waste your guys' time, but just rotate them, put them down the sword. You can even duplicate your monogram, and you can add it to the hilt of your sword here for your monogram letter. So that's pretty much the basics there. And then the same thing with this. You just Control, Shift, and G to ungroup this. You select just this area, and you can move it up like we did in the program. Like I said, if you want to center that, you can grab this whole inside here. Make sure the outside is not selected. And then you can move it back down. And there you go. You got it pretty much centered. And then the difference here is, let's say you want to make this 1/4 inch material. You may have to make slight adjustments to different areas, like you'll have to adjust the tab inside here, the tabs outside here. But just for real quick example here, let's say for this you could come in here and hold down Shift and click all of these bottom nodes, and then you can move this down and make it about a 1/4 inch material there. And then you can increase all of the slot sizes. So right now it's a 1/4 inch. You can move it right to a 1/4, or it was an 1/8 inch. Now it's a 1/4 inch, depending on how thick your material really is. Most 1/4 inch isn't really 0.25 inches for wood. It's usually more like 0.2 inches. So you can change that however you need based on how thick your material is when you use like a digital caliper tool. But let's just say it's 0.2 inches because that's what mine usually is. And then you can go around, change all the tabs, all of the slots, and do the same exact thing. A real cool trick that I know of for changing like the inside pieces here is you can zoom in on it here and then grab your rectangle tool, just copy over top of what you currently have. And right now it's set for that 1/8 inch material. We're gonna just then change it to that 0.2. And as you can see, all that did was change the width. And now you can highlight both of these and use your Pathfinder tool and remove the top. And there you go. You've increased that inside slot. And you know that it'll be the correct width on both the front and back because you just expanded it while it was on top of the other one. So that's a real cool editing trick that helps you speed up slots there. Like the little cutout slots, because those are usually tricky. But that speeds that up a lot. But yeah, other than that, I hope that this helped you guys out. I know that was a really quick video. If you want more in-depth videos on editing, I have more in-depth videos. I've done plenty of them with 3 different examples. The easy, medium, and hard editing modes. You should definitely watch that video if you haven't, if you want to see more in-depth learning on that. But other than that, yeah, it's been Josh here with Fresh Start Customs. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoy some of these new designs like this. I'm pretty proud of this design. It turned out pretty cool. If you want to support the channel in any way, just go to freshstartcustoms.com or look up Fresh Start Customs on Etsy and purchase a design there. Make it for your shop and you can sell the physical products. Other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next one.